Hello students of class 6. So in this video, as I told, I'm going to finish the rest of the poem, that is Robinson Crusoe story by Charles Edward Currie. So let us start with the seventh stanza. So I hope you remember the poem Robinson Crusoe. He was stuck on a deserted island, and we'll get all the details about what he did, what he ate on that deserted island in this poem. So let us start with the seventh stanza. Then they gather as we travel, bits of moss and dirty gravel, and we chip off little specimens of stone, and we carry home as prizes funny bags of handy sizes just to give the day a scientific tone. So Robinson Crusoe on that deserted island, just to break that monotony of that life, he used to go for a family picnic with his domestic animals. And while he used to travel from one corner of the island to the other corner of the island, what did he do? He and his domestic animals and his pet animals used to gather things, whatever they saw on that island, they used to pick those things. For example, bits of moss and dirty gravel. So seventh stanza, as I've written on the board, it is about what did he gather as he traveled, or as he went for picnic on that island. So what are the things that he picked up while having picnic? Bits of moss and dirty gravel. Bits of moss. Moss is bits of moss and dirty gravel. Moss is small flowerless green plant. So moss is what? Moss is a small flowerless green plant, and these type of bushes and mosses are only found, these are types of flowerless green plant can only be found in any kind of deserted island, okay, kind of forest or jungle. So he used to pick up all the mosses and dirty gravel. Gravel means small stones. What is the meaning of gravel? Gravel. Gravel means Gravel. Gravel means small stones. So he used to pick up small stones and moss, that is small flowerless green plants from the island. And we chip off little specimens of stone and we carry home as prizes. So Robinson Crusoe and his pet animals took all these little things as prizes, as if they were some kind of prizes for them. And we carry home as prizes funny bugs of handy sizes just to give the day a scientific tone. So since Robinson Crusoe was a very inquisitive person, he was very curious to gather new knowledge, and for him, exploring the island, picking up things from the island, whatever he got from that island, like stones, small stones, mosses, flowerless plants, all these things gave him this feeling of a scientific things, as if he was doing some kind of experiment on that deserted island. So all this gave their day a scientific tone, and these things are this will sound a bit weird. Obviously, how can a person have scientific experiment, or how can a person do scientific experiment on a deserted island? So these are all just the imagination of the poet, just to make the readers feel amused by reading this poem. So let us go to the next stanza. If the roads are wet and muddy, we remain at home and study. So now Robinson Crusoe, he's talking about when the roads of the island, when the weather of the island was not good, when the weather was cloudy and the roads were wet and muddy, they used to remain at home and study. So in any kind of cloudy or rainy season, they did not go out. They used to remain at home and they used to study all the things that they gather from the island. For example, for the goat is very clever at sum, and the dog, instead of fighting, studies ornamental writing, while the cat is taking lessons on the drum. So see the names of the pet animals that Robinson Crusoe had on that deserted island. So he had goat, he had a dog, and he had also a cat. So dog, goat, cat, these were his pet animals, and also his friends on the deserted island. And whenever he went out for the picnic, he used to go with his pet animals. Now in this paragraph we will see that the author Charles Edward Currell has given many human-like traits to all the animals. For example, here it is saying, for the goat is very clever at sum, as if the goat could do maths. Sum as in maths. So he was very good in mathematics, the goat. And the dog, instead of fighting, can study ornamental writing. And the dog could study writings. Ornamental writings means decorative writings. And the cat is taking lessons on the drum. And the cat, his another pet animal, was taking lessons. He was taking music class. He was taking lessons on drum. So how can an animal like goat, dog, cat, how can they behave like human beings? Can they study? Have you ever seen an animal studying writings, taking music lessons, or doing mathematics? Obviously not. So these are all bizarre kind of things that has been put by the author Charles Edward Currell just to make the poem humorous. As I said, the poet Charles Edward Currell, he himself was a very humorous poet, and to amuse the readers he has used all these kind of weird things to make the poem interesting and to make the readers to grab the attention of the readers. So let us go to the last stanza. We retire at 11 and we rise again at 7. And I wish to call attention as I close to the fact that all the scholars are correct about their collars, and particularly in turning out their toes. So in the last stanza, we will see the time schedule of Robinson and his pet animals. So they were behaving exactly like human beings do on a regular daily basis life. So we retire at 11 means they used to go to bed at 11 p.m. at night, and they used to again wake up in the morning at 7. So they followed a very strict schedule like human beings. And from this we can say that they had a very systematic and organized, and they had a very disciplined life. Robinson Crusoe led a very disciplined life on that island along with his pet animals. And the poet is saying, and I wish to call attention as I close to the fact that all the scholars means all the writers and all the poets, they are correct about their collars. Collar means the collar of the animals. So now Robinson Crusoe is saying that, before I end this poem, Robinson Crusoe is saying that all the scholars and the writers, all these scholars means writers and poets, they are right about their collars. Collars means collars of animals. And he's saying that they are correct about their collars, and particularly in turning out their toes. So in the last line, turning out their toes means the way the animals used to turn out their toes. So now this line is quite mysterious, because the author Charles Edward Currell has left this line up to us. It is up to our imagination what we want to imagine after reading this line. But this line suggests the behavior, the outward behavior of an animal, how an animal turn out his feet, or how the animals turn out their toes. So the author Charles Edward Currell, being Robinson Crusoe, in this poem is saying that all the writers and all the poets are very much correct about the collars of the animals, and how the animals turn out their feet, how the animals turn out their toes. Whatever the writers have written till today about the collar of the animals and about the feet and toes of the animals, they are very They are very much correct and they are very much particular. And rest, we have to imagine what exactly the author is trying to say, because he has not given any particular meaning, or he has not given any particular point or fact that we can understand. So it is left to our imagination. We have to imagine. And in turning out their toes, if we delve into the deeper thing, then we will know that it has an inner meaning. And inner meaning means, in turning out their toes, it means to go out of home. So if we take the inner meaning, then Robinson Crusoe, since he went against his family's wishes, he went against his parents and he went to the sea to be a sailor. So he was the one who left his house and he went out of home. And he has suffered so much. When he went against his parents' advice, he did not listen to his advice. He suffered so much. At sea, he struggled so much. He had experienced so many things in his life. He has lost so much of his friends. And so he's saying that to go out of home against your family's wishes, to not listen to your elder ones, that is something we should not do. And all the scholars and writers are very much correct about this, that to go out of home against the wishes of your parents, or to not listen to the parents, is not a very good thing. And all the scholars and writers, they are very much correct about this till today. So this can be another meaning of the last phrase, in turning out their toes, which means to go out of home. So turning out their toes, just write it down. Turning out their toes. The inner meaning is to go out of home. To go out of home. So this can be one inner meaning of this phrase, that to go out of home, that just like Robinson Crusoe did, again he went against his parents' wishes and he went out of his home, which proved a very bad thing to him. But also, definitely, he had experienced a lot of new things. He had learned a lot of new things. So this is a very beautiful and an exciting poem about Robinson Crusoe and his adventure and his survival on the deserted island. And I hope you have liked this poem very much. So in my next video, maybe I'll make a video on questions and answers of this poem. I'll discuss the answers of this poem. So till then, bye all of you. Thank you and take care.